Hello, Coinsummit. My name is Flavien Charlon. I'm here today to speak about our new project called Coinprism. So first, let me say a few words about who we are. So we are the Irish company behind Predictious. Predictious is a Bitcoin prediction and derivatives market. So it's a website where you can buy and sell predictions about future events, and if your predictions are correct, you will make a profit. So we have many different categories of events. So for example, in the politics section, you can try to predict who will be the next US president. On the derivatives side, for example, you can try to predict what will be the price of Bitcoin next week. So that's a very good way to hedge a Bitcoin position, for example. And we have other kinds of derivatives like altcoin derivatives and Bitcoin mining difficulty derivatives as well. So we will continue to run, maintain, and invest on Predictious, but today I'm actually here to present our new project, which is Coinprism. So Coinprism is the first colored coin web wallet. So it does everything that a normal Bitcoin wallet does. It can store, receive, and send Bitcoin, but you can also store, send, and receive colored coins. And because colored coins need to be issued in the first place, Coinprism also lets you issue the colored coins. So before I continue, how many people are familiar with or have heard of colored coins before? Okay, so about half the people, I'd say. So I'll just describe briefly what they are. So the concept behind colored coin is that you take a Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin and you tag an additional value or secondary value on top of it, and then you can track it on the blockchain. So it's a way to store any asset and transfer it through the blockchain. So there are many applications to colored coins. One of them is making an IPO. So I could, if I'm a company, I'm looking to raise some money, I could issue some shares on the blockchain in the form of colored coins and just sell them to my investors. A second example would be a bullion bank. So if I'm a bullion bank, what I could do is whenever I accept a gold deposit, I give a golden coin back for every ounce of gold that got deposited. And then the person can then sell it or exchange it on the blockchain. And then eventually when the customer comes back and wants to redeem the golden coin, I give them back the ounce of gold. And by the way, this also works with normal fiat deposits. So you could have a traditional bank accepting US dollar deposits and give US dollar coins in exchange. Another example would be smart properties. So I could have a lawyer draft a contract which says that the owner of a house is the person who owns a special colored coin. And then I can prove that I own that coin by signing a message. And then I can also send that coin to somebody else, which then becomes the new owner of the house. So what are the benefits of colored coins? So can we move to the, yeah, thanks. So the benefits of colored coins are derived from the fact that it's running on the blockchain. So because it's using Bitcoin transactions, you can send any asset across the world for the price of a Bitcoin transaction. And so it ranges from free to a few cents. The transparency, it comes from the fact that the Bitcoin is a public ledger. So if I'm a bullion bank issuing golden coins, everybody can audit the blockchain and see how many golden coins I've been issuing, and they can verify that I'm not doing fractional reserve banking. Now, in terms of security, it's like the thousands of terahashes that are securing the Bitcoin network is also securing colored coins because it's running on the Bitcoin blockchain. So that wouldn't be the case with an altcoin, for example, that runs on a separate chain because it's much easier to attack in terms of the 50%. And finally, you don't need to buy a special altcoin to use colored coins. So this is in contrast to, let's say, Mastercoin. With Mastercoin, you would have to buy the MSC currency. And so you'd have to buy it from maybe the initial investors. With Counterparty, you would need to burn some Bitcoin before you can get your hands on XCP. And you need those currencies to use those protocols. So with colored coins, it's different because all you need is a few Bitcoin, which you will then color. But if you change your mind or you don't want to use those colored coins anymore, you always have the option to uncolor them and recover the backing Bitcoin. So this is more like a deposit rather than an investment you have to make. You can always change your mind. Yeah, so now let's see what Coinprism looks like. So first of all, we launched the closed beta a few days ago, so it's quite new. And we plan to release the general availability in about a month. So that's going to be on mainnet. The closed beta is on testnet. So let's say I'm a company and I want to raise some money on the blockchain using colored coins. I'm going to show you how to do that in 5 minutes with Coinprism. So first of all, I'm going to create an account. So I type some basic information. I'm going to press enter. And you can see at the bottom it says encrypting your account. So this is because the private keys are generated on the browser, on the client side, and they are being encrypted before being sent to the server. And they can only be decrypted using the password of the account, which is never sent to the server. So even if the database is compromised, there's no way for the attacker to get the keys. So after I've created the account, I end up on the wallet overview page, so I can see my balance in Bitcoin here. And I see my newly created address. So like with any Bitcoin wallet, I can transfer some funds on that. So let's say I'm transferring 1 Bitcoin. I see the balance update. Now I want to create a color that will be used to issue the shares. So I'm going to go to the addresses page and click on new color. So I'm going to see that. So I can type a name for my color, and then I'm going to type my password. The password will be used to encrypt the private key that's used to issue the shares before being sent to the server. Now, after that, I get to the page where I can define some metadata about my color. So I can set a ticker name, like a full name, the company name who's issuing the shares. I can upload a couple of pictures. So this metadata will be displayed on all the wallets of people who own those shares. So then more metadata. So at the bottom you can see there's an option to select the number of colored units per Bitcoin. Here I'm selecting that I want to be able to issue 10 million shares per 1 Bitcoin, but this is completely arbitrary. I could choose any amount up to down to 1 Satoshi equals 1 share. And finally I select the asset type, which in this case is a stock. So this metadata obviously is not stored on the blockchain. It's stored on the web, but there is a pointer on the blockchain, which is a URL, which points to that metadata. So when I've done this, I'm now able to issue the shares. So I'm going to go to the issue coins page and select the amount of Bitcoin I want to color. I press enter, and I get to this screen. So on this screen, I get the ability to review the transaction. I can see how much is being sent and how many is being colored. And if everything looks right, I'm going to type my password, and this is going to sign the transaction, again on the client side. So the transaction is being signed and then broadcasted to the Bitcoin network. So when this is done, my balance updates, and you can see now I have 2 million shares of my company. And my Bitcoin balance went down from 1 Bitcoin to 0.8. This is because I've used 0.2 Bitcoin to issue the shares. But again, I can always uncolor the 2 million shares to recover the 0.2 Bitcoin whenever I want. Now, what I can do is I can send the shares to my investors. So I go to the quick send page. I'm going to type the address of my investor, select how many shares I want to sell, let's say, or to send, let's say 100 shares. And then I'm going to send it to my investor. And so here the investor has the ability then to sell them or send them to whatever they want with them. But they don't have the ability to issue the shares because they don't have the private key, which is linked to my account. It's encrypted, and they would need my password to do it. So yeah, so to wrap up on that, so if you're a developer, you're interested in the open protocol specification that we are using for colored coins, you can look it up on GitHub. It's a very light protocol, and it's very simple to implement. So if you want to try the beta, you can talk to me after this, and I'll give you an invitation code. And then you will be able to sign up for the beta, and then we'll launch the final version in about a month. So if you have a few questions, you have 30 seconds. No? Okay, there, yeah.
I'm glad to see you're focusing on the storage of value. One of the things that immediately I saw Bitcoin as an application for transferring ownership of securities. Are you talking to any firms today, you know, in terms of like a DTCC about transferring ownership or any type of clearing firms or private shares or anything of that nature? Because
Sorry, so quickly, just for now, the wallet is just the basic platform, and then we plan to work with gateways or companies who will be issuing the shares. But for now, we're just concentrating on the wallet, so that people can start using colored coins and start issuing their coins, but without providing the upper layer yet. So yeah, thank you.